If you clicked on this video, then most likely you're wondering whether you should buy a Kindle in 2025, and the short answer is yes, you definitely should. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so obviously that's a joke, but the answer for this video is going to remain the same, that yeah, I think you definitely should be buying a Kindle in 2025. So in this video, I'm just basically going to go over reasons why I think you should buy a Kindle, and then maybe some things that I don't necessarily like about having a Kindle. Growing up, I was a kid that would crush their AR goals. I don't know if you guys remember this, but you would read a book and then you'd go on the computer, take a little test, and then you get AR points. And I would always crush those numbers. I loved getting those free personal pan pizzas from Pizza the Hut. As I got older and I went into college, my relationship with reading changed, essentially. It stopped being something that I did for fun and enjoyment and became something that I had to do in order to pass my classes. And then after college, I stopped reading in general. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, I picked up reading again because I was at home and I had a lot of free time. And then in 2021, after building a catalog of books that I had nowhere to place, I kind of came to the decision that maybe it was time to buy a Kindle and have a place where I could centralize all of my library. Enter this guy, my Kindle that I've had for about 4 years now, and it's still in great shape. This is the Kindle Paperwhite. One of the big features that I love off the bat from the Kindle is the fact that there's the Kindle library syncing. Sometimes when I forget the book and I'm out and about, and also just read on my phone, and then when I go back, I can just pick up where I left off on my phone on my Kindle. So that is for sure such a game changer for me, and has been one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to read a lot more. I also do find myself taking this out and about with me simply because it's not that big. So this is, for reference, this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's about the same, well, the phone is a little bit shorter, but it's only about a phone and a half width. I don't really think about it when I throw it in my bag. Hold on one second. Okay, so when I travel, I tend to bring this sling bag with me. It's relatively small. I kind of sometimes wear it as like a fanny pack, but this thing fits in there. Yeah, it just fits in there. So it's super light, super portable, especially on flights. I really like taking my Kindle and just reading it on flights. But if you don't want to bring it with you, the fact that you can Kindle sync is also super helpful. Speaking of taking it on planes, another time where I read the Kindle the most is when I commute to my office via train. I take the LA public transportation system, and this isn't me making a statement about the LA public transportation system. The reality is that public transportation isn't as safe as we might all want it to be. You're on your phone watching TikTok, you might have your earphones in because yeah, you want to hear what the TikTok is saying. You kind of are an easy target for someone to just kind of walk up to you and just like snatch your phone and hop off. Like, it's not super common, but it's also not unheard of. Being aware of your surroundings is something that's super crucial when you're in public transportation. So a Kindle is also just a safer choice. Not only are you enriching yourself or finding enjoyment, depending on what you like to read, obviously. I don't know, kind of just food for thought there. And with that being said, I'm moving on to my second topic, which is the reduction of distractions. Yes, I said that the Kindle Sync on your phone is also super cool, but when you have a dedicated device that's particularly just for reading, you kind of just read. Like on your phone, you could be using the Kindle app and like reading through books and whatnot, but you get an email or you get a text or you get a call. The fact that a phone can do everything is both a blessing and a curse. And when you have something that's strictly dedicated to reading, because that's the intention that you're setting when you pick up the device is to read, then I find that you will read just a little bit more and you won't have those notifications coming in or even the muscle memory. Like sometimes I'll find myself unlocking my phone and just have it go to Instagram or go to TikTok. So by removing that, I found that I was just reading a lot more, that I was enriching myself with self-development books, which I enjoyed to read, but also just having different ideas and thoughts as I read, even stuff like fiction. Going with a reduction of distractions is also the fact that it's a lot easier on the eyes. These e-ink displays are so much easier to read, especially at night. I'll put my phone down to charge a bit further from my bed, made it a lot easier to not get as distracted, and also just picking up the Kindle and reading before bed. Like that has been such a game changer in terms of like how quickly I'm able to fall asleep, as well as there's some other stuff in my routine. Let me know if you guys want me to make a video on that. I have found after years of experimenting, like what I think is like the super optimal falling asleep routine, and in part it's involving the Kindle. And the next point that I really love about the Kindle is the fact that the library is huge. Any book that basically exists in person, you can just pick up as an ebook, because authors have found that by not publishing on ebooks, they're leaving out like this whole separate side of the market of readers. The only book that I can think of that might not be the case, and in fact I have a copy of it, the only book that I can think of that probably won't read as well on a Kindle is this one, House of Leaves. And the reason being is because the book in and of itself is an experience. Yeah, like some pages are just blank. Some of them pages are written like upside down. Like this is also like a super interesting, like yeah, like look at this. This won't translate well to Kindle. This is to say that 99.9% of books are going to be on Kindle. Alternatively, If you choose to sail the seven seas, there's also ways of sideloading books into the Kindle. Don't feel that like just because Amazon doesn't necessarily carry the book, but the ebook exists somewhere else. There are very simple methods of just simply plugging your device into your computer and sideloading books. I'm not advocating for piracy. I think that authors should be rewarded for their work and their thoughts and writing all that down, obviously, but that's also an option if you're someone who's maybe a little bit strapped on cash or can't find the book via the library. You always have the option of sideloading books yourself and getting books that way. Lastly, and this is kind of just a minor thing, like the battery life on the Kindle is incredibly long. If you turn off the Wi-Fi and you kind of just have it like in airplane mode, it lasts like months. Like it's really ridiculous what they've been able to do. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the e-ink display doesn't necessarily take up a lot of battery life. One less thing that I have to think about charging. And if I happen to be on a trip or something and my Kindle does die, it uses USB-C. I always have a USB-C charger anyways for my phone. It's just one less thing that I have to carry or really think about, which is really nice, especially as someone, like I said, who travels with a lot of tech. Not having to bring an extra cable, not having to worry about whether the battery is drained is just like awesome. So those are all the pros of the Kindle and kind of why I think you should definitely get one if you're even just considering getting one. But I'm going to go over some stuff that I don't necessarily like about it. The biggest thing sometimes it tends to be with Amazon and the way that they do Kindle pricing. Oftentimes books will be cheaper if you buy them on Kindle, but I have found a lot of copies of books where the physical copy, like the hardcover or even the paperback, will cost just as much as the ebook. And I get it. In reality, you're paying for like the content. That's kind of how I think about it. But if you're buying the ebook, you don't have to pay for the shipping. You don't have to pay for the printing and the colors and the ink and all of this stuff. So I think that in general, they should be a little bit cheaper than the physical copies. Lastly is organization. So I am a bit OCD when it comes to organizing my books because I have so many. You know, I read self-help, I read business and career development books, I read a lot of horror, science fiction. With the way that the UI works with Kindle, I have found that organizing is very like binary. It's either you finish the book or you haven't finished the book, or things aren't categorized by genres. Even though the Kindle knows what type of genre it is, I haven't been able to find a very good way of organizing things. The closest thing that I've been able to find to kind of organizing is creating collections and then putting in books. But even then, it's very slow and tedious to try to organize your books. So I've kind of just resorted to just conceding the fact that my library of like 100 books is gonna exist as like this giant blob that I kind of have to scroll through to see what I got. Nonetheless, I think its benefits far outweigh its cons. This is just me being nitpicky and I kind of had to sit here for a little bit and think about what I didn't like about the Kindle. Okay, yeah, so that's basically been it. I believe everyone, if you're even slightly thinking about buying a Kindle, definitely get one. I have the Paperwhite, which isn't necessarily the cheapest one, but there are cheaper ones. So if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, maybe I'm gonna read, maybe I'm not gonna read, you definitely should be reading though. Get the basic one. There's a super basic Kindle. I think that one goes on sale randomly for like 50, 60 bucks, or even if you were to look on eBay, because it's not like an iPad where like, oh, you're getting the Pro versus the Air or whatever. It's like, it's just a book, man. Like whichever version of a Kindle you get, whether it be an older generation or like the latest and greatest, if your objective is to read more books, the Kindle is going to facilitate that by removing so much of the friction that comes with getting new books. So if you've been on the fence, definitely go make sure to check them out. Okay, so if you watched this far, I would just want to say thank you so much. I hope that you got some value out of this video, and if you did, you should definitely subscribe because you're someone that I would love to make videos for. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to talk about books. I'm currently reading The Deep by Nick Cutler, which is a horror novel that is pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only about 35% of the way through the book, so I can't comment on whether he sticks to the landing or not. Definitely leave a like and comment down below of what you're reading or like what you want to read. One of the goals for me for 2025 was to read a lot more books, and whether that's through audiobook or, you know, on my Kindle, I plan to make that a reality. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day and good rest of your 2025. Bye-bye.